Have you ever stopped to notice how automatic it feels to reach for your wallet when you need something or think you need something? Consumer culture has trained us to believe that shopping is the default solution for every problem. But what if I told you there's an antidote to this addiction? Not only can you meet your needs without spending money, but you can also lead richer lives in the process. Saving cash, breaking free from the grip of greedy corporations, and creating a lifestyle that's better for both people and planet. Hi, I'm Laura, and welcome back to my channel. Here I talk all about how to achieve financial resilience in environmentally and socially conscious ways that don't destroy the very future you and I are both working so hard to prepare for. In this video, I want to share 14 joyful, out-of-the-box ways to get much of what you need without spending a dime. These aren't the usual quick hacks like free birthday meals at chain restaurants. Because let's be honest, who wants to celebrate another year of life by eating unhealthy junk food that contributes to shortening your life? Instead, we're going to explore deeper, higher leverage practices that help you shift your mindset, cultivate abundance, and build real resilience in a consumer-driven world. This is a concept my co-authors and I delve into in our book, Growing Free, Building the Life of Your Dreams Without Losing Your Soul or Destroying Your Planet. And we have a free excerpt of our book that you can access using the link I've included in the description below. So now, back to those more impactful leverage points. Number 1, follow your passions and interests. We all have things that we're interested in and like to do, and often there are groups of people gathering with those common interests. And then when those kinds of gatherings happen, there are often an abundance of surplus items that people don't need or want to share related to those interests. For example, I'm very interested in urban agriculture and gardening. So often at the local sustainable urban agriculture meetings in my area, people have extra plants that they bring in that they're so eager to share. I have to imagine it's similar for other interest groups, be it artists, knitters, or gamers. Number 2, get inquisitive. I've been watching David Attenborough's The Life of Mammals, and in one episode he discusses a group of animals he classifies as opportunists, and that included raccoons. He noted that they owed their success to their inquisitive nature. I know that there's a negative connotation around this idea of an opportunist, but I think we could take a lot of inspiration from that raccoon's inquisitiveness, because it's helped them thrive in our modern world. We can certainly do a lot more to take initiative and learn about opportunities around us. I recently needed a new smoke detector and did some researching and learned that my local fire department gives them away for free, so I didn't have to buy one. And when I saw olives growing on one of the trees in a public median in my city, I made the effort to ask the staff of the business nearest to that olive tree if they used or had any plans for those olives, and they said that it was actually a tree managed by the city. So I took the initiative again, and I picked up the phone and called my town's director of public works and asked if anyone that had been caring for that tree had plans to pick those olives, or if it would be okay if I did. And the public works manager said, no, go ahead. No one has any plans for them. Help yourself. So I got a whole pint of chemical-free local olives that I have now brining in my cupboard that I will enjoy in about 2 more months. And don't forget the bulletin boards at your local libraries or natural grocery stores. Read the free local newspapers and news weeklies. Go to your local civic association meetings. These things are all excellent sources to learn about resources and opportunities available or coming available in your community. And at the very least, you'll learn more about free events in your area and save more money on entertainment. Number 3, get connected. People often end up giving away stuff they no longer need. If you know them, they might offer it to you. The larger your social network and the greater your social capital, the more opportunities you create for yourself to receive some of that excess abundance. In my own case, my set of dishware came from a friend who moved and no longer had space for a second set of dishware. My bookshelf came from a friend who no longer needed it, and the trundle bed in my guest room came from a friend, again, who was moving away and no longer needed it and gave it away. Plus, getting more connected can help you feel less lonely and more joyful. Now, if you find as I move through these 14 tactics that you think I've left something out, Please let us all know in the comments what else you would suggest. But now, on with my list. Number 4, open your mind to the abundance all around you. We are continually fed messages by social media, advertisers, and our governments about scarcity. Capitalism's false myth of scarcity, that is, and we end up believing them. However, we live in an abundant world. Yes, greed, distribution, and hoarding challenges exist, but there's also a lot more we can do to access more of all those resources out there in our midst. And most people overlook them because they stay stuck pursuing what's considered cool and can't look beyond the mainstream consumption habits to start to perceive things differently or open their minds to different alternatives. When my boyfriend Albert was finishing his yoga teacher training and needed to teach classes in a yoga studio but wasn't able to find studio space available, he looked out at the public beach in our area and realized he could use that as his yoga studio instead. He just posted announcements on his Facebook page, letting his social network, those connections, know that he was going to be offering a donation-based yoga class on the beach. 10 years later, this class is one of the most popular and loved yoga classes in our area. It could also be volunteering at a local community garden and coming home with some free produce afterwards, or foraging some of that fallen fruit or those edible weeds in your area, or keeping an eye out for those olives in public medians and learning how to brine them, because it's a pretty simple process. And in a society that is so quick to discard still useful things, I have to direct your attention to that waste stream for some more of that abundance that's still out there. So that brings me to number 5, tap the waste stream. There's no such thing as waste. There are only misdirected resources and poorly designed systems. This outdoor seating area where I am all started when I found this chair and another one just like it at the curb a block away. Then, on a bike ride home one day, I found this out at the curb. Another day, my next door neighbor had this out with his trash, so I hauled it in. And I had some cinder blocks in my garage that the previous owners of my house had left behind. So it all came together for free. So all of this trash or waste became one of my outdoor happy spaces. I also found over a year's supply of organic legumes out at the curb just around the corner from my house when sadly someone got evicted and left the area. My boyfriend and I will be eating those legumes for at least another year to come, and I have shared a number of those bags with all of those people that I'm connected with. Again, those friends, those networks, those connections. I didn't need all of those legumes for myself, and I enjoy things more when I can share them with other people. That's why it's so good to get connected and be in those groups where people have similar interests. And Albert picks up weekly the excess produce from a food pantry near us that only gives out food once a month, and so often has a lot of produce that they can't keep fresh until their 1-month food giveaway. So Albert goes and picks up the boxes, and much of it is already gone off, and we use that for composting to build soil, because again, there's no such thing as waste. But there are often huge boxes of plantains that are just brown and ripe and ready to use. We've had artichoke scores, lots of carrots and cabbages, and so much coleslaw that he's been able to make for us. So all of these things that are waste, if we just shift our thinking around them, we can get a lot more from them. Which brings me to my next point, number 6. Get more from what you've already got. Instead of buying something new, tap your creativity and resourcefulness to see if you can make it, or at least make a useful alternative from things you already have. I'm often reaching for the vinegar, the rubbing alcohol, and the essential oils, among other things that I've rescued from the waste stream, to put them together to make hand sanitizers, cleaning products, or facial toners for myself. All of this stuff that I already have on hand that was initially considered waste that I'm able to put together in a new way to make what I need. Using what you've got already in your pantry or refrigerator to prepare a meal or snack is another great example of how you can get more from what you've already got. And then there are libraries, all of those resources out there available to you, whether it's books to read, films to watch, classes for you to learn a new skill, or free events for your children. Number 7. Harness the universal law of reciprocity. These reciprocal relationships are weaved throughout the entire fabric of our existence here on Earth. Think about how as bees buzz from flower to flower, they gather life-sustaining nectar while pollinating the plants they visit. It's a win-win situation. When I share things with people, many of them share things with me again later. Many of those dumpster diving scores I've shared have come back to me as well through other friends who have started dumpster diving and also score more than they need and want to share it with me and others. And I've had similar results sharing the foraging abundance and my gardening abundance. I get all kinds of that stuff in return as well. It could also look like you hosting a friend for a visit and then going to stay with that friend when you go visit them. So building on this theme of reciprocity and our earlier theme of getting connected, that brings us to our next tactic, number 8, seeking out reciprocal networks. There are all kinds of networks flourishing to help people facilitate these moneyless exchanges. Many of you are already members of your local Buy Nothing group. Maybe you're fortunate like me to live in a community with a local time bank where the currency for exchange is time, not money. Or maybe you've discovered the online version of time banking that's open to everyone around the world called Simbi. Maybe some of you have used the couch surfing platform where you can crash with others for free when you're traveling and then host people in your town when they travel. There are lots of cool, creative, resourceful, and fed up people trying to reduce the chokehold of capitalism on their lives who are pursuing, creating, and participating in these reciprocal networks that offer moneyless exchange opportunities that are so much more meaningful and fulfilling than going to the store to buy what you need. So make sure you tap into those in your community and online. Number 9, befriend creative and resourceful people. Hanging out with them is like free entertainment, and it fills your life with such rich, unique experiences as well as inspiration and new ideas. I've created a network for myself of artists, musicians, and civic-minded friends, so I am regularly invited to amazing parties and gatherings and backyard concerts and interesting conversations, all for free. Then there's my friend Michelle. Our friendship developed largely through our mutual interest in permaculture and foraging. I was able to lead her to a new lychee foraging site, and she was able to help me forage even more lychees because she had a specialized tool that reached up much higher in the tree than I could just on my ladder. Number 10, become more self-sufficient and community sufficient. Being able to figure things out instead of always having to buy a product to solve your problem leaves you feeling a lot more satisfied, accomplished, and resilient. And as you invest time in useful skills, you'll be able to share those skills with your neighbors, friends, family, and other members of your community, and then watch that universal law of reciprocity kick in. A lot of what I've already covered in this video touches on ways you can become more self-sufficient and community sufficient. So I'm going to move on now to our next tactic, which is number 11. Frequent potlucks, not restaurants. Now that you're getting connected and weaving yourself into the fabric of your community, you're better positioned to host and accept invitations to potlucks. Plus, if you're growing or foraging some of your own food, you can use it to make fresh, tasty, and interesting dishes to take to potlucks. When you build community with other people who like to garden, forage, and cook, you'll find that at many of the potlucks, the food is far tastier and healthier than what is served at many restaurants, where it's so bland and flavorless, and the food is initially delivered to those restaurants in Cisco cans. Okay, number 12, attend or host swap meets. Similarly, you can take advantage of all of those connections to participate in swap meets. I've been to swap meets at friends' homes, art galleries, cafes, and churches. One of my Instagram followers once told me that after all my talk about how much I love swap meets, she went ahead and organized one in a park in her community. I have so much fun at swap meets, which turn into social occasions, giving me the opportunity to hang out with friends and make some new ones. One of our local swap meets also includes a tea party, and people bring cookies to share as well. Swap meets are such a fun way to rehome still useful items and keep them out of the landfill, and get what you need without clicking that Buy Now button. Number 13, take care of your stuff. Investing a bit of time into some basic maintenance of things you already own, especially those of any value, can extend their lifetime and keep you from needing to spend money to replace them so frequently. Of all these tactics I'm sharing, this is the one where I still have the most room for improvement. But I definitely recognize the value of it and am working hard to get better at maintaining my things. I ride my bike a lot, and I know I need to get better at oiling it more regularly, especially since I ride through a lot of water here in Florida. I take inspiration from people like my friend Jerry, who's owned and used this lawnmower on his 2-acre property for about 10 years, and it still looks like a showroom model. And some of you won't like this last one, but number 14 is go without. Living on a finite planet, we all need to reduce our consumption of goods and energy. Luckily, the more you go without things, the more money you save. And the less of it you send off to the coffers of those greedy corporations and billionaires. I'm not suggesting you never buy things, but I do encourage you to put more thought into your purchases. Do you really need the perfect throw pillows or the latest tech gadget? What's a more joyful way you could spend time that you didn't spend shopping for them? How bad will your life actually be without them? When we step outside the consumer treadmill, we rediscover a whole world of abundance that doesn't cost a cent. Abundance based in community, creativity, reciprocity, and the natural world all around us. These 14 tactics aren't just ways to save more money. They're ways to live more joyfully, lightly, and resiliently on a planet that desperately needs us to consume less. So the next time you feel that pull to buy now, pause and ask yourself, what richer, more meaningful option might already be available for free? And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably feel the same about this one. That's it for now. See you in the next video.